And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing Transport Fever, trying to push our production here. And as you can see, I've done something to bring our numbers up. So food is at 86%, goods at 86%, construction materials are going up, fuel is going up, tools and machines, machines are doing good, or tools are doing good, machines always lag behind. So what did I do? Well, if we look at food, you can see we have food. If we go over here, construction materials, fuel, and goods. So what I have been running into, and just a brief recap of what's been going on. We've been pushing our production as much as possible. I made a change to the city buildings prior to this recording session that doesn't dilute their demand. Normally their demand is divided by 4 of their capacity, and so therefore your number of goods demanded is about a quarter of your population. So without that, my demand has been slowly approaching the sweet spot, which matches basically population. You can see industry here is very, very close. It's just because of all of this stuff, it just had to rebalance itself every time. Like the buildings that haven't been built recently, those are the old values. They have to remodel themselves. They have to, what's a good word? They have to like refresh in order for them to have the new values. So some of these outer cities probably are doing pretty well for themselves as well. So let's see. Yeah, see those shopping facilities very, very close. And the jobs here with the demand is also very, very close. So yeah, the amount of material that we've been moving has become extreme because of, the demand going up, and then now my supply is going up. So how did I get supply up without running into huge bottlenecks when it comes to moving materials? Because what I have found is an industry basically caps out at about 8,000. So all of these industries that were making things, they typically have capped out about 8,000. There are a couple of exceptions, but it's, somewhere in the 8,000 range is all that it can handle. And even though there's demand for thousands more, many thousands more, it just can't do it. It cannot keep up with demand. So what I have done as a sort of experiment is I went into the system. I went into the mod that edits the industries, the construction files, and I've tweaked the recipes inside. So the higher level buildings actually give you a better return. So as an example, if we look at the sawmill, now the sawmill was always 1 log equals 1 plank. Regardless of what level the building was, that was always the ratio. And it is a high, the high level version of this is nearly impossible to keep up and keep it full of material because it's constantly disconnecting itself from the supply line. And I have been fighting that for many episodes now, trying to find a balance. We did a sort of working test with extreme amounts of trains for a farm. And if we look at the farm, Nothing has changed here. And you can see we need 11,000, and yet we're still hovering in the 8,000 range, 8 to 9,000. It just does not seem to be able to handle more than that. If we look at the quarry, same thing. We have lots, 10,000 potential, and yet we're only supplying 5,600. So the game struggles to supply anything at any level past a certain point. And so what I've done is I've gone in and tweaked the recipe and said, oh, you know what? When you're in a higher level, we're going to give you better returns. So if we look at this, this is like a level 2. 1 log equals 2 planks. 1 log equals 2 planks. If I level it up, again, 1 log equals 3 planks. So it's basically, it scales with the demand. Either the more you'd want to draw from it, the more efficient it becomes at producing whatever you want, because there's no other way around it. There really isn't. I have tried the doubling of things. So I've got a double food processor. I tried having double farms, and they were constantly disconnecting themselves. As you can see by this food column here, this system is working rather well. Right now, it's specifying 2 grain or 1 cow equals 2 food. And if we see this is level 2. So yeah, the only downside to this, because you've really got to keep production high, the downside to this is these production values seem to only go up per craft. So even though 1 cow gets turned into 2 food, that's still a +1 on production. From what I can gather, that is how it works. Now, if you've tracked it really, really closely and done some experimenting on your own, let me know. I would have to do some extreme cases to see if that value is different. I mean, it seems to be going up 2 at a time, but it does that a lot anyway. So, wow, Northwest Food is just going gangbusters here. So yeah, all of these factories have really been pushing out a lot of material in order to supply the massive amount of demand that we've got. So once it hits that sort of equilibrium, the massive amount of materials should dwindle ever so slightly. Southeast Oil Refinery. Yeah, it's a lot of this has been going here. The oil refinery has kind of been hit or miss because this is supplying plastic, and we're not really, I mean, we're making a lot of plastic, don't get me wrong. Surprisingly a lot of plastic, actually. This is the highest production I've yet to see in the game. Even though, like tools, we have way more production or way more demand than anything. So the other change I made, so if we go around here, the steel mill now is, 1 of each. Now this is leveled up to the point of giving 2 steel or 3 in a slag if you want to do that. I sort of leveled everything up, and there's still 2 more levels to go, but the production values is where we're kind of struggling at the moment. So finally, the end of the line here, I've really revamped these, and I've said, okay, 2 planks or a steel gives you 2 tools, or a steel and a plastic give you a machine. I have gotten rid of the planks to a machine recipe here. No longer can you use planks to make a machine, because I want to try to deliver planks up to this thing just to see if this works out. So in the end, I think, how do we want to do this? Well, this is gonna be a nasty bit of work right here. I'm thinking right through here. I'm gonna have to go basically around here and then underneath some of this. So how many tunnels and stuff? Oh, there's a lot of tunnels going on down here. There's a lot of tunneling going on. Oh, train 63, what are you doing? Northwest Goods. Really? Northwest Goods. Not very good as far as supply goes. Okay. So, and if you want to turn off the little Duvalakis here, I believe it is that one right there. So that might help your frame rate a little bit. You can turn off indicators for stations. I want to turn off income numbers, income and expense numbers, and vehicle icons. I just don't need all that stuff listed here. Okay. So if I'm going to want a lot, oh, now train 66 has reached its end. Northeast Goods, I might be able to bump that guy up. So let's do HH Goods. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, lag. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. On. Since you're going to be replaced anyway, you might as well go. Yeah, the steel mill is going to bark and complain at me for a little while. Everything's trying to rebalance itself. I've got all of the coal and iron supply. Those are all using the vanilla the vanilla cars, as is the log supply and the plank supply going out here. Those are all using the original numbers, the original vanilla values. So a little bit more consistent supply, but still running into issues every once in a while. Okay. Obviously I had to save and close the game here to make those edits, so we have to redo all these. Okay, so I'm thinking 3 lines coming out for planks going up to machines and tools. And as such, of course they're going to be doubled from the start. So we're going to get this guy. Actually, let me rethink that. You. And then you. There's 3 there. Now we've got to somehow worm our way up to way up here. So I'm thinking a bend somewhere over here. We're going to just head north. So let me pull this back a little bit. Leave enough space. I want to square all these off so they're all nicely tight together. And this one here. Okay. So ideally, Oh. Yeah, it looks like we're going to need to really go crazy with this here. So we're going to loop you around. I'm going to dial it. No, don't do that. Oh, okay. There's good. Yeah, see, I don't know why sometimes it disconnects from this. See how it disconnected? Right about there. It kind of became its own thing. Okay, we're going to pause. Lag spikes are getting annoying. Even with slag gone, we've got so many trains out here right now. How are you disconnecting? Right there. Something funky right there is going on. Oh, wow. That's really weird. Game hates me right now. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Okay, now we've passed the whatever weirdness was going on there. So I kind of want to bridge over as much as we can. And we are going to try to sneak in over here. And it's going to be a little tough. We've got this one here. Let's dial this out like that. And then we have this one here. I don't think we have any underneath that we can use. We would if I wouldn't have been so tight with all of those. As far as planks go, let's make sure these are, oh, really? Make sure these are doubled up. And I'm going to double this one up here. And we are going to share. We're going to share one on that side. Okay, so bring you out. Now, you. So, this is going to combine into there. And we're going to have another one come out, combine into there. So it's going to be doubled, and then it's going to shrink down, and it's going to be sharing with that one. Not, you know, not my best work in the world, but I think it'll work. Okay, so here we are. Let's cross all that we need to cross. And first of all, let's get our line, you know, somewhere in that vicinity. It's a lot easier to do this when you have an end point to connect up to. Yay, another autosave. Tell how complicated the world is by how long it takes for that to autosave. Okay, so we have a nice curve there, but let's try to go up with it. That will actually work. Amazingly, that goes right up over all of that, all of that. That is a bridge for the ages right there. Now, what are the odds that we can quintuple that, huh? Okay, I'll just take this one little bit at a time. Otherwise, I run the risk of having it disconnect again. I really don't want that. Okay. And okay, make sure I connect into the right one over here. That one there. So a nice clean circuit all the way out. The only really ugly part is this bend right here, but I'm okay with that. Now I really wish you could just click that and offset it and have it do it automatically, but you know, pending that little feature. I mean, they haven't put out an update for this game in almost a year, so I'm thinking they've moved on and are working on either something else or, I don't know, taking a vacation. A year-long vacation, but whatever. Oh yeah, now this is an epic bridge. Not a cheap one either. Because we're going to be moving a lot of planks up here. You remember the recipe is 2 planks per tool. And so you have a thing delivering 250 planks. Well, that's only 125 tools. And when your demand for tools is sitting at about 37,000, yeah, that's a lot of planks. So I'm hoping this doesn't completely break the goods. I just am hoping that we you know, get it using less planks for tools and more for machines, and that way we can build up the amount of material that, or the amount of tools and stuff that we have going. So all of this right into, no, see, I didn't want that. Let's make sure that stayed there. For some reason, it disconnected itself again. So it looks like we're going to have to run this individually, which I can easily do, take care of in between episodes. Not a big deal. Signal wise, it might be a little tricky. Okay, this guy next. All the way up. All right, well, let me finish this off in between episodes, and we'll come back and finish off the planks and see just what happens when we start delivering planks. So that'll do it for this episode, and I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.